Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking the van. It means that you guys keep looking. If you guys keep looking, I'll keep making. And today we're talking about the Elie boot. A boot for me that was very significant. I think whether you were rooting for her or against her, I feel like we can all agree this boot was huge for the season. It was very fun to watch, with it being a very aggressive move from Gabler. In this video, I want to touch on the things that I think she did wrong throughout her entire game, kind of leading up to this looming blindside. Obviously, make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff because it's free, it's easy, and it really helps the channel out. So I think to start with Elie's story, obviously we have to go in order. So let's just go back to the premiere. So after this premiere, I got to say I was so high on Elie. And really this whole game, I've been high on Elie. Not because her game position has been the best, aside from the first episode, but really it's been her edit. Her edit's been flashing so much. She's been given, I guess, such a positive edit to this point. She's been given a story that was like really big about her sister overdosing. And then on top of that, we've kind of seen the game on her tribe from her and Sammy's perspective. So I always thought that they would get really far. I was right about Sammy. I think at this point I can say with confidence that Sammy's making it far. I'm not so right about Elie, obviously, because she's gone. So this first episode opens up with Elie kind of taking control and giving herself options. She aligns with Janine and Mariah. Now, the closer relationship here is Janine, and that's very important because later in the episode, even though, Mariah wants to do the all-female alliance, she goes with Janine and does, more of a hybrid where it's two females, her and Janine, and then Sammy with Owen kind of floating around on the outside of their alliance, at least from her perspective. In reality, Sammy and Owen and Gabler over the next few episodes kind of form a counter alliance to this because they're scared of, the two girls and the power that they can bring with an all-female alliance. And so they end up, instead of that, going for I guess sort of a anti-Elie and Janine alliance, or really an anti-Elie alliance, because the girls are underestimating the guys on this tribe, with the girls literally kind of inferring that Gabler didn't know how his own idol works, which is pretty disrespectful. And so Gabler found this out and really solidified him against Elie and Janine. And so it's really Gabler, Owen, and on top of that, Sammy versus Elie and Janine. They're on the bottom, but they have no idea. And if there were to be a vote, Elie probably, it's either Elie or Janine. My guess is in the pre-merge is probably Janine. But of course, during the post-merge, they go for big threats, and that's why they went for Elie. So let's talk more in depth about the bag fiasco, because this is really the start of the end of her game. And so here we see both Janine and Elie, but mainly Elie, wanting to figure out the specifics of Gabler's advantage that he got from risking his vote, I believe, in the first episode. And so the idea here is, does it expire after two tribal councils in the game or two tribals that he goes to? Because if it's two tribals in the game, then it's already useless. And obviously, if it's two tribals that he goes to, then he's immune for the next tribal, because at this point he had gone to one tribal with it in his pocket. And so that's a big piece of info. They sneak into his bag. Janine looks through it. Elie looks watch, and Owen is there and is kind of keeping the secret, but is not really part of it at all. He's just keeping his mouth shut for now, at least. And this is a big piece of info because Owen goes and tells Sammy, who then goes and tells Gabler, and it's a big thing. So they find the idol. They find that it's actually expires after two tribals that he goes to, which is a very important key bit of info, because now it means that he's safe and they can't blindside him at the next vote, because of course Elie thinks that it's her, Janine, Sammy, and kind of Owen against Gabler for this first, or really the next vote in the pre-merge. So this is big stuff. They now have to pick someone else, probably Owen. But the key thing here is Owen's there. He sees it. So he goes and tells Sammy. Sammy tells Gabler, and we hear from Gabler that he does not like how the girls are underestimating his ability to play the game. And the girls take this one step further by actually telling to Gabler that his idol is useless. Basically kind of joking, saying like, oh, well, now we can use it as a fake idol since it's useless, like wink, wink, hoping that he'll be tricked into thinking that his idol isn't worth anything and that maybe they could blindside him at the next tribal. This obviously doesn't work. Gabler's not that dumb, and it just makes them look like they're underestimating and kind of patronizing him in a way. It's not a very good look. So then we see at the merge, they're split up into the two groups of 6 for the earn the merge round. Elie is put on one tribe that loses, and then Gabler and Janine are on the other, I guess, group that wins. They are at the merge feast, and Gabler announces to everyone while they're talking about who should go at the first merge vote that Elie looked through his bag on day 1 or 2 or 3 or something like that, and that he doesn't trust Elie because of that, kind of offering up her name, and everybody was just like, whoa, including the person that's her number one ally in Janine. So Janine goes back and tells Elie, and immediately Elie is pissed. She goes to Owen and Sammy and kind of berates them and says, you told him? Oh my God, like no freaking way, because Elie knows that Sammy knows that they look through his bag. Now, of course, Janine is the one who looked in his bag, but Ellie's basically the one who planned it just as much as Janine did. So she's just as much as a culprit. So it's not a big, giant deal, but it is bad that he said it publicly, and it really breaks their tribe apart and causes the cracks that will lead to her blind side. Then later in the episode, she confronts Gabler basically the exact same way that she just did Owen and Sammy. She goes to him and says, what the heck? Like, why are you throwing my name out? He's like, well, you're not my ally because you lied to me. And she tries to berate him in so many different ways, tries to, kind of bait him into being aggressive. It does not work at all. It's very impressive that he was able to stay calm here and really socially outmaneuver a therapist, which is really, really hard to do considering a therapist's job is to be socially skilled, be able to kind of get what she wants socially. So for him to do this here was absolutely impressive. And I think one of the best moves socially that I've seen in this new era of seasons. Very, very good gameplay. At this point, Ellie's starting to get paranoid, rounds her tribe up and says, hey guys, listen, we can blindside each other later. Let's sit together. We won challenges in the pre-merge so that we have the option to stay together. Actually, a really, really good play. Like, I'll give it to her. It's very, very smart. It's just a little too late because at this time, the rest of the tribes are kind of realizing how much she lied to them, because earlier in the episode, she had told the Coco people that the Vessi people were after them, and that the Vessi people that the Coco people were after them. So she already kind of lied, and now that one lie about the bag has come out, it's now kind of spreading around that she's lying to every single person. And by this time, the blind side is looming. Her only chance is to get Elie to play the idol on her. She said in her post-game interview that she actually asked Elie not to play it on her because she just didn't feel, that unsafe. And she also just didn't feel like it was necessary to waste an idol that they could use later. But unfortunately, that's what she had to do to stay in the game. She didn't see that and went home in a pretty tough spot here right before the jury. I think overall, she was pretty fun to watch as far as like how she played. I think she just needs work on her threat management as well as just not playing so aggressively. She's just lying to everyone, and that's going to get back to you in a modern Survivor times. So what do you think about Elie? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, none of this happens so that you guys, that's what I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.